What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 brawlers who are so good when it comes down to draft. So some of these might be just pretty good in current meta, but I've always just gone these types of brawlers in the draft no matter what. So I would say if you're a free-to-play player, look to max out a lot of these that I recommend, because not only are they just pretty always relevant in the meta, they're just good everywhere. It's really versatile brawlers. So make sure to subscribe for all future content on this channel. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So the first brawler I'm going to mention is Belle. So I've always been glazing Belle ever since she was first released, because she has always been B tier in the meta and above. It's got to be one of the most consistent brawlers I've ever seen in Brawl Stars meta, and that's because you can play Belle everywhere. She's good into literally everything. It's all down to the user. So if you need a gem carrier in gem grab, she's not the best, but those long range maps, she's pretty good. If you're looking for a heist brawler in those longer range maps that can just easily win matchup against those, you know, damage dealer brawlers like Colt, Colette, and Belle is a great counter to into those, and then also shooting high safe, really annoying. She works really well in a lot of heist maps. Then you've got Bounty. Of course, she's going to be good in Bounty. Other snipers are good into Belle, but normally they're banned out in draft. And then you can pick Belle with the traps as well. She's really good there. Same goes with longer range maps in Brawl. It's probably one of the worst game modes, but she's good on the longer range maps or to counter B in Brawl. Hot Zone as well. If it's a longer range map like Ring of Fire, Duel and Beetles, and good. And then lastly, Knockout. So of course, Knockout, she's going to be really, well, she's not going to be the best there, but she's going to be good to counter Jean. So you see what I mean? Every single game mode, you've got some way of playing Belle. So one of the best brawlers to draft a list, we have Cordelius. So Cordelius is, I would say, in the bottom of B tier / high C tier. But the good thing about Cordelius is that he's always pretty relevant in the meta. I don't think there's ever really been a time. This is probably the worst he's been in a while. So maybe hold back a little bit for now, but still at the same time, he's always relevant. Like I said, the good thing about Cordelius is that he's a great counter to certain assassins or just certain ideas, where if you're struggling for what, you can always go Cordelius. He's going to hard counter so much. So for example, if in Brawl there's just some annoying tanks running at you or Primo, etc., Cordelius is the best answer to stop that in a 1v1 situation, and he can guarantee you goals in Brawl. Gem grab, again, some really annoying brawlers in the gem grab meta. Cordelius is good at shutting them down. In heist in particular, he's very good, because he completely hard counters brawlers like Chuck, Melody, so he's a great answer for that situation. One of the best defenders in Pit Stop, Hot Potato, etc. As I already mentioned, Brawl going to be pretty good. In Bounty, he's not the best, but at least he can counter kit compositions if they ever appear. But definitely in Knockout, a lot of kit Daryl combinations happen, or kit whatever else, and Cordelius is by far the best counter. So again, he's just good in draft for that reason, for just hard countering the opponent. So next up on this list, I went with Leon. So a lot of people are going to hate me, because I think Leon was one of the brawlers that was maxed out not too long ago in the ranked season. Everyone was just spamming it. I can't remember, but people just spam Leon no matter what sometimes, but for good reason. I think Leon is really underrated. He has been for a little while. He's not the worst anymore, and you can go Leon everywhere. So let's just go through the game modes. Again, look at gem grab. You can just pop your lollipop drop gadget, give you and your mid gem carrier invisibility, and the opponents will always be struggling to know where you are with Leon. It's all about cycling that first super, and then you yourself as a Leon can go after the gem carrier. Next up, heist, probably the game mode you want to avoid with him, not really the best there. Bounty, probably his best game mode, because once he gets the super, he can counter the sniper so well. A good Leon player can just take over the game, and he's very underrated. The pros go Leon quite a bit on maps like Hideout, Shoot and Start, etc. Brawl, again, not the best, but you can make Leon work there. Still pretty versatile. Hot Zone, again, not the complete best, but you can still make Leon work. Knockout as well, not the best, but you can still make Leon work in some maps like Belle's Rock. Every single game mode, there's a use case for Leon, and that's always been the case ever since his release. Next brawler you must be maxing out for ranked, and in particular just so good in draft, has to be Jean. So Jean is one of these brawlers that's always underappreciated by the majority, because whenever I put Jean high on my tier list, people are like, oh, Jean's not that good. Well, he is. In pro play, he always is a top 15, top 10 pick ban brawler, because of how easy he is to play and how consistent he is across the board. So again, gem grab, he's a great gem carrier because he can scout the bushes easily with a vision gear. He's got a good knockback gadget, and just not really a lot fully counter Jean, to be honest, because you can always pull somebody into a teammate and just take down those brawlers that typically counter Jean. And then of course heist, you want to avoid him in heist. Bounty is one of the best brawlers in Bounty easily, because he's actually got a good matchup into a lot of snipers now, with the Vengeful Spirits gadget being really good at finishing off kills, and he's like good into like Nanny, for example, etc. So really good in Bounty. In Brawl, I wouldn't really go him at all in Brawl. he's not really good. Hot Zone again. Knockout, definitely want to be playing him there. So like 3 out of 6 game modes, Gene is probably one of the best draft brawlers because there truly isn't really a Gene counter when you think about it. So now we're going to be going into a specific game mode pick for each one of the game modes, starting off with Angelo. So Angelo is really good in Bounty and Knockout, but Bounty in particular because, again, there's just no brawler that really counters Angelo. When I did a video previously on the best counters to Angelo, I really struggled because it's just so annoying. There's just nothing that I can solidly pick into him and think, oh yeah, I've got a good matchup there. So for that reason, you could always go Angelo, but it is always down to the user. Angelo, I think the more I use him, the more difficult he is to use because just the way that his pits gadgets works and just people are getting better at juking more consistently. But trust me, a good Angelo can really take over. Just look at pro players. They just abuse Angelo so much in the draft, and there's just nothing that counters him properly. So now moving it into Knockout, one of the best picks in draft, in my opinion, has to be Buster. So Buster, since the Hypercharge release, he's just absolutely insane in a pro meta, in ranked, wherever you're playing him in Knockout. He's just really hard to face off against. So in pro play, a lot of people, what they just do, all 3 of them just group up because by the time the gas closes in, you have a Hypercharge for free. And then you just have this super that can just take over the map. You've got the gadget on top of that. It's just really hard to find a true counter to Buster in that situation. So for Knockout, it's just the freest draft pick ever. And I hardly see anyone willingly pick Buster because sometimes it can be a little bit awkward to play. And majority of players don't really like playing him. But again, you can play Buster in other game modes as well. He's going to gem grab, Brawl, etc. But in Knockout in particular, he's just a golden S tier pick. Now looking at the one brawler in Heist who I always like drafting no matter what, it has to be Bose. People are starting to grasp that Bo's a really good Heist brawler a little bit right now, but still in this ranked season, I'm just getting Bo for free every single time, and he's just great into everything because he'll be able to feed his super for free off so many different brawlers, and there's not really any true counters to Bo in the Heist meta because you just think about it, right? You just farm your super for free, you just throw your mines onto the safe, you tripwire. That's all you do consistently time and time again, and he's actually a decent all-rounder Bo. Like, he can defend if needed, he can deal some decent damage with his main attack on high safe if needed, he's got a decent amount of HP, so he has good presence on the map. There's just a lot to like about Bo in Heist. I mean, of course, he's got a Hypercharge that just deals an insane amount of damage onto a high safe. That's why you primarily pick Bo, but I'm just saying that he's just good all around in the game. Of course, you can play Bo in different game modes as well. You can play him in Gem Grab, Knockout, Bounty, but I think Heist is definitely his best game mode. Now moving into the one draft pick I really like in Brawl, which not a lot of people go, it is Max. So I'm just saying that, like, a lot of people, like the pros go a lot of Max basically. They see her as like an S tier brawler, but I'm still seeing in my ranked games, people are just afraid to go Max. I know that she's more of a high skill cap brawler, if that makes sense. Like, you've got to be willingly, like, quite confident to go in and make those plays. But if you're that type of player and you get used to playing Max, Max could just absolutely take over the game in Brawl. There's not really a lot of true counters to Max. The only ones I don't like are those tanky brawlers because Max isn't a tank counter. You need your other brawlers to help you in that fact. But again, Max is just good everywhere in Brawl. You can play Max as well in Bounty, Knockout, Gem Grab. You play Max pretty much everywhere, but Brawl in particular is the one pick which I always go and always have a good success rate with. Now moving it into one of the best meta picks, well, best ranked draft picks in Hot Zone, it has to be Amber. So Amber's always been a solid brawler in Hot Zone and Heist. People would normally ban her in different game modes, but these are the 2 in particular she's really good in. But Hot Zone in particular, since the Hypercharge release, it's just completely broken. The Hypercharge is so incredibly strong. It takes a long time for her to get the Hypercharge, but still, Amber's always been a good Hot Zone brawler because she's just good into everything. There's not really many true counters to her. The more open the map, probably actually the worse it is for Amber, as other longer range brawlers can counter her. But it's just more so her super can just provide value just by zoning the opponents, and you're going to cycle a lot of those supers. And just as well, Amber's a good zone time brawler as well. She's got a decent amount of HP, and it takes a long time for players to actually kill Amber, so she's going to get a lot of zone time through that way. I just really like her in Hot Zone. She's always going to be a good Hot Zone brawler as well. You think of Amber for the past year plus, she's always been A tier in the meta and specifically good in Hot Zone, but the randoms don't always go Amber, so you have a free Amber pick there. But last brawler on this list is Tara, and it's mainly in Gem Grab. Tara is starting to become a really good brawler in the meta. A couple of the pros were actually trying to say that Tara is A tier in the meta. I only put her in B tier because she's only really excelling in like gem grab, brawl ball, maybe a few other instances, but in gem grab she's absolutely S tier. So the only true counters to her, one of them is like Sandy, but you don't really see too much Sandy anymore. And then Janet, most of the time Janet is banned in gem grab, so you just get free Tara matchups so often. And there's just so much tankiness going on in the game, and it's not really a lot of brawlers that fully hard counter those tanks. And Tara is one of the only brawlers really that has such a fast charging super. Her hyper charge can really take over the game, and it's been underrated for a long time, even by myself included. She's such a good brawler in the gem grab meta right now. Pro play, randoms, you know, whether you're in gold rank, master, pro rank, Tara is S tier everywhere in that instance. So that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Let me know down in the comment section below whether there's any like brawlers that aren't really strongest in the meta, but you always just pick in rank no matter what because they're just pretty versatile and pretty good, or you're just comfortable playing it. But that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.